Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Nikki Wright, and I'm part of the I-405 Improvement Project Community Outreach Team. Thank you for joining us today to discuss upcoming activities at the Brookhurst Street Bridge. I'm here with Chris Buckley, and we'll be providing a brief update on the project, and then we'll focus on the Brookhurst Bridge. And now a little housekeeping. After the presentation, we'll have a Q&A session where participants will have the opportunity to ask questions. If you wish to ask a question during this Q&A portion, click on Q&A and type your question and then click send. For those joining us by phone, please dial star nine from your phone to virtually raise your hand. We will call on the caller using the last 4 digits of the phone number. And then the caller will hear a message that it's their turn to ask a question. And then you can press star 6 to unmute yourself. We have some resources for you, including the project fact sheet, our bridge map and fast facts, the Brookhurst Bridge FAQ, our express lanes FAQ, and the express lanes access map. We've also included the detour map for the upcoming closure of the bridge, and we will link to these documents in the chat, so you can download those at any time during our presentation. We'll also be sharing a link to sign up for project alerts, and you can sign up for project-wide alerts or bridge-specific alerts. And we'll be conducting a few instant polls during the presentation, so please participate in those when you see them pop up. And we'll be sending out an electronic survey after the meeting, and we'd really appreciate your feedback. All right, now we'd like to acknowledge some additional team members who are working in the background to keep this webinar running smoothly. They are Joey Fernandez, Asia Stansel, Jessica Stock, and Anna Finlay. And they'll be managing our questions, doing research with some of the team members on the technical team, and communicating with the audience via the chat box. Finally, we want to let you know that this meeting is being recorded and will be available by tomorrow afternoon on our project website. And that's octa.net/405improvement. So if you know someone that couldn't join us tonight, please tell them to head over to our website and check it out. So let's do our first poll. In the poll section, if you would please take a moment to participate, we'd like to know how you found out about this webinar. All right, we're seeing the answers coming in real time here. It looks like most people saw on social media and email, which is great.
Good. All right, I'm going to jump in now. Thank you, Nikki, for getting us started here. Much appreciated. I'm going to move to slide 2 here just for a second. Hang on. There we go. I'm going to give you a brief overview and a status update on the overall project, and then we'll talk more about what's coming up at Brookhurst. In this slide, on the left, you can see the project limits are from about State Route 73 in Costa Mesa to I-605 in Seal Beach. That's a length of about 16 miles. On the right, you'll see that one regular lane will be added in each direction of the 405, which is consistent with Measure M, and that's shown in yellow. And then an additional lane will be added in each direction that will combine with the existing carpool lane to provide dual express lanes from State Route 73 all the way through to I-605, and that's shown in green. On this next slide, you can see some of the major features of the project. We're replacing 18 bridges as part of the project. We're widening 4 others, and we are constructing a new express lanes connector between the 73 and the 405 down in Costa Mesa. So if you've been at that end of the project, you've seen a lot of the very, very large piles being driven into the ground. We're also building more than 150 walls throughout the project area. There will be new bike lanes and sidewalks on all the replaced bridges. And the overall cost of the project is $2.08 billion. I'm going to do a little bit of show a little bit of an update on construction right now. We're very excited to share that the project is more than 60% complete and typically has more than 1,000 workers involved each day. These next several slides show construction progress out on the project. On this one, you can see the first 3 bridges that were completed and open to traffic. Slater is shown on the left, excuse me, Bouchard in the upper right, and McFadden in the lower right. This next slide shows more completed bridges with the Talbot Bridge on the left, the Magnolia Bridge on the bottom, and the Edwards Bridge on the right, and that one opened last fall. In this slide, the photo on the left shows an aerial shot of the Heil pedestrian bridge. This new pedestrian bridge is anticipated to be completed and open to pedestrians this summer. And then the photo on the right shows reconstruction of the Edinger Avenue Bridge, which opened to traffic last December. On this slide, on the left side, is the first half of the new Westminster Boulevard Bridge. Crews are currently installing forms and rebar for the second half of this bridge. And they are expected to be pouring concrete for what's known as the stem and soffit later this month. That forms the bulk of the bridge's superstructure. So what you drive under and what you see when you drive under it. The second phase of the Westminster Bridge is anticipated to be completed in summer 2022. And on the right, crews are pouring concrete for the second half of the new Bolsa Chica Road Bridge, which is nearing the end of construction. It's anticipated to fully open to traffic this month, along with the southbound Bolsa Chica off-ramp. Oops. Here, the image on the left shows the completed first half of the Bolsa Avenue Bridge. If you drive this area, you've probably noticed that realigned Northbound Loop off-ramp has opened. We do still expect some intermittent closures of that ramp in the future to wrap up work there. Meanwhile, crews continue working on the second phase of the bridge, which is anticipated to fully open to traffic in late 2022 or early 2023. And the photo on the right shows Beach Boulevard. The widened freeway in this area required building new on-ramp structures in both directions. Those are mostly completed. It also required a new intersection where the southbound ramps meet Center Avenue. So if you're coming southbound and swinging down the ramps, that's an entirely new intersection there. And then you turn left and you head to Beach. Final paving for the northbound off-ramp is completed. Remaining paving activities for the northbound loop on-ramp are planned for next month. There is still some work to do there in that intersection. It'll look different than the way it is now. The northbound straight on ramp, for example, will be realigned to line up with the two off-ramp, the northbound off-ramp and the loop on-ramp. So those ramps will all be aligned and at a signalized intersection. And that northbound straight on ramp work is expected in spring of next year, so a little over a year from now. The reason we have to wait on that work is because if you've driven by there, you've seen that we have a big batch plant, where they crush the rock and then you reuse that for the project. And that has to be moved before we can realign that ramp. All right, this next slide has us pretty excited. We'll be more excited in a few months here. It shows in green the 8 bridge replacements that are open to traffic. By the end of the summer, we anticipate having another 3 bridges open, making it 11 of 18 replacements fully open to traffic. As you can see, we have a significant number of bridges still under construction, and that's shown in orange. And Brookhurst is next, which Nikki will talk more about right now.
All right, thank you, Chris. So now we'd like to focus on Brookhurst Bridge. This bridge will begin phase 2 of its construction, beginning with a traffic shift to the east side of the bridge, which allows crews to create a work zone for the second phase of activities. Once traffic is shifted to the new side of the bridge, crews will demolish the old portion and then begin construction of the foundation, the sub and superstructure, and then connect it to the first half to open it up to traffic next year. So the traffic shift will occur over a 55-hour period starting tomorrow, 10 p.m. Friday, February 4th to 5 a.m. Monday, February 7th. And during this 55-hour period, crews will close the Brookhurst Bridge each night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So as you can see on the detour map that we're showing on the previous slide, There it is.
Nope, this one, yeah.
That one, yes, thank you. The southbound I-405 loop on-ramp from Brookhurst and the southbound I-405 off-ramp to Brookhurst will also be closed. So those will be closed the entire 55-hour period. And this is to tie these ramps into the new half of the bridge. The activities at the southbound ramps include removing existing asphalt, guardrail, and curb and gutter, and bringing these ramps up to the grade of the new bridge and restriping the lanes on the ramps. And just a reminder, the northbound loop on-ramp from Brookhurst and the northbound loop off-ramp to northbound Brookhurst are already closed for reconstruction, and those will remain closed during this time. They're anticipated to reopen by the end of February. So after the traffic shift, pre-demolition activities will begin almost immediately, and that includes concrete removal and removing what is known as the lost deck, as well as removal work at the abutments or the sloped sides of the structure that hold up the bridge. Demolition of the bridge spans over the freeway is tentatively scheduled for February 12th. Then we have the holiday weekend, and Cruz will come back on February 26th. Those 2 weekend nights of demolition will require full bridge and freeway closures. And our team will provide additional details about those closures and upcoming alerts. Demolition activities will continue for several weeks during the day and at night. And generally the day shift hours are 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. with crews mobilizing as early as 6 a.m. And the night shift hours are 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Typically, night work consists of removing demolished materials, and that requires lane closures. And Caltrans generally only allows lane closures at night because the traffic volumes are lower than in the day. So now a bit about the construction of the new bridge. For the first few months, crews will construct the foundation, and that includes shoring activities, excavation, and earthwork, and placing settlement fill at the southbound abutment. This involves placing large piles of dirt where the abutments will go to compress the soil in those areas, ensuring that once the bridge is constructed, it doesn't settle any further. Settlement is anticipated to take about 30 days, so you really won't see a lot of activity in this area during that time. We often get a lot of questions about this because it seems like work has stopped, but that's why. Then starting in spring, pile driving will occur for the foundation of the abutments, and that's expected to continue into early summer. And then once that's done, crews will construct the abutments and center columns that form part of the bridge's substructure. This will take place mid 2022, and that's followed by superstructure work. That includes installing the falsework, which is the steel and timber structure put in place to hold up the bridge until it's strong enough to support itself. And that's happening in late summer, early fall this year. And crews will then install forms and steel rebar for the superstructure and pour concrete to create the new bridge and the bridge deck in fall 2022 to spring 2023. Once all of that's done, utility lines for water, electric service, and digital communications will be installed through the bridge. Then next, crews will work on the approaches to the bridge, and those tie into the existing roadway. And they'll do a closure pour, which is pouring concrete in the center of the bridge to connect the two halves. In early 2023, crews will then perform civil work on the bridge, and that includes installing the concrete barrier rail, fencing, sidewalks, monuments, and the center median. Finally, crews will perform electrical work and striping activities to prepare for opening the bridge. So this second phase of construction will take approximately 18 months, and it's expected to be complete in late spring, early summer 2023. When the bridge is completed, there'll be the same number of lanes and sidewalks on both sides. However, there are currently no bike lanes, and we are happy to be adding those in both directions. And next, Chris will talk about future ramp closures and what the intersection will look like after the construction is complete. And Chris, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, there is a lot of work that's going to be happening over the next 16 to 18 months here. And we appreciate the community's patience. We know Brookhurst has been a lot of work, a lot of impact, but people seem to be making it work, adding a little extra time to their trips, and that helps quite a bit. So this slide shows the Brookhurst Street intersections in their final configuration after the project is completed. But before I go into that, there are a couple of more ramp closures that are going to still be needed in this second phase. So as we've closed the northbound ramps and they're being reconfigured, we're going to be doing something similar with the northbound straight on ramp. That's from southbound Brookhurst, and that closure, it's going to be about a month, is expected to occur in spring or summer of this year. Then as we get closer to the final activities and the opening of phase 2 of the bridge, Cruz will close the southbound off-ramp and on-ramp for about a month each. And these will be consecutive, not concurrent closures, and that's to tie in the ramps to the newly widened bridge. And they're anticipated to occur in the spring of 2023. And actually, I think we should check on that. I don't know if it's going to be consecutive or concurrent, so that's a question we can ask our technical team in the background. Final configuration, the exhibit on the screen shows you how the new ramps will be configured once the project is completed, right? So that's their final configuration. You'll notice that the loop off ramps have been eliminated, right? You can't use them today. When the freeway and this interchange was built, the number of vehicles using the ramps was significantly less. So they are not as efficient for today's traffic volumes or for future traffic volumes. So that's why we're rebuilding these ramps and creating new intersections here. In addition, you can see that the off ramps terminate at these signalized intersections. So that allows drivers to turn left or right on Brookhurst, and that eliminates, therefore, the need for the loop off ramps. These so-called T intersections are preferred because it eliminates merging and it helps keep traffic flowing safely and quickly. So I want to talk a little bit about how we connect with members of the public. As you can see from this slide, we have a number of ways that we do that, both in print and electronically or digitally. For major activities like bridge demolition and pile driving, we canvass flyers to addresses within about a half mile of bridge. I'm sure many of you have received those flyers over the last few years. We also send out regular updates by email and through text and automated call alerts. You can sign up for those updates, both project-wide and bridge-specific, using the links in the chat. These email updates are a quick and efficient tool for us to alert the community to new information on activities and schedule updates. We also post very frequently on social media. We have a lot of engagement there: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And you can find closure and detour information on our interactive map, which is at octa.net/405map. That same information also is available on the navigation app Waze. And finally, while we like in-person discussions for major activities like this, major updates like this, we will be continuing to meet virtually with the community for the time being. But important news for us, exciting news for us, we will be stepping out and going to the Tet Festivals. There are 2 separate festivals this year. One is at the Orange County Fairgrounds, and that's Saturday and Sunday. The other is at Miles Square Park, and that occurs Friday through Sunday. So come by our booth, ask questions, pick up some project information, and some fun Lunar New Year giveaways.
All right. Thanks, Chris. I'll wrap up the presentation with this slide, which shows all the ways you can reach us or get information about the project. If you have a specific question or concern, you can call our project helplines, or you can email us at 405project@octa.net. We may not have an answer for you right away, but we will work with our colleagues on the technical team to get you one. And we'll leave this up for a few minutes in case you want to take a picture of it with your phone or a screenshot. And we want to do our next poll. So if you could please take a moment in the poll section. What is the best way for you to get construction information and updates from us? All right. And we're seeing everything come in real time as you fill it out. Looks like email, social media, text alert. Don't forget, you can sign up for bridge specific alerts. So if you just want to know about Brookhurst and Fairview, you can click those, or you can sign up for everything. And it looks like mostly email. That's great. All right. So with that, we will start the Q&A portion. It looks like we have a few that have come in. Thank you so much already. And we are going to answer them in order that they came in. So please be patient with us. So Andrew, welcome back. I know you attend quite a few of our meetings. Thank you for joining us again. You always have good questions for us about all the different bridges, and we're glad that you asked because I'm sure a lot of people want to know. So for Andrew's first question, is the Valley View Avenue Bridge completed? And I think that's also Bolsa Chica. And that's nearing the end of construction, as Chris had mentioned. And we anticipate that it will be fully open to traffic this month. And that also includes the southbound Bolsa Chica off-ramp. So very soon. And is Brookhurst on and off ramp now open? So we talked a little bit about the different ramps that are open and closed during this 55-hour period, but also permanently. And just making sure I pull up the correct info here. So for this weekend, for the traffic shift, Andrew, the bridge is going to be closed each night from 10 to 5. And then during the 55-hour period, starting tomorrow at 10 p.m. to Monday at 5 a.m., the southbound loop on-ramp from Brookhurst and the southbound loop off-ramp to Brookhurst will be closed completely. And then the northbound loop on-ramp from Brookhurst and the northbound loop off-ramp to northbound Brookhurst, those are going to remain closed and open later this month. So hopefully that covers all your ramp questions there. And next question, also from Andrew, where's the new traffic signal for Edinger Avenue and Beach?
So I'm going to go ahead and take that one. We've had that question before from I think from Andrew and from others, and I do believe there certainly was work on the traffic signals at that intersection. We can check with the technical team to see what the status is if that work has been completed. But at this point, we know that there was signal modification at that intersection, sorry.
All right.
Let me take the next one there with Sean Wong. Sean asks when the Heil pedestrian bridge will open to pedestrians, and that is anticipated for basically mid-year summer. It's a very it's a bridge that has a lot of detail work associated with it. And if you get up close, you can see, you know, the handrails, there's LED, you've got that curved fencing over the top of it, just a lot of fine detail work. And then there's some additional adjustments to deal with some, there was a drainage issue on the, I believe the southbound side in one of the streets. So it's just adapting to that, and the schedule had to adjust a little bit, but it's now expected to open in summer.
All right, thank you. And then for the question that we had about the Beach and Edinger traffic signal from Andrew, our team on the back end, like we mentioned earlier, is working with some technical folks to help us pull plans and answer all the very technical questions. So the Beach and Edinger traffic signal, it is being worked on. It's not completed yet. And if you would like some more information, you can email us, Andrew. We can try to get specific schedule information that we have thus far, but that's what we know right now. All right. When will Fairview Avenue Bridge be completed?
Spring.
Spring. There you go.
There's still quite a bit of work to do there. They're looking at things like concrete barrier on the bridge. They still have to work on the approaches which connect the bridge to the roadway. They are still working on electrical items. There's some drainage work, retaining walls. There's still work to do around that. And then there's some ramp work that will have to be completed. So it's still got a few months, but it'll be done by this spring. That's what's anticipated.
All right, and that's spring, yeah, spring this year.
Yes, spring this year.
Okay, thank you. And next question from Sean. When Cruz close the northbound 405 on-ramp from southbound Brookhurst Street Bridge? Let me pull that up. I think that's in our notes here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of the it's the straight on ramp, but it curves around. Yeah, that's going to happen later in the project, I believe, right?
I think closer to when the bridge has already been demolished. Let's see.
Mhm.
Northbound on-ramp from southbound Brookhurst.
Spring, summer of this year is what we have here.
Okay. And we expect that to be about a 30-day.
Right. So about a month, sometime about mid-year.
Okay. And Sean's asking if we can put this presentation in a PDF.
Absolutely. And in fact, I don't know that we necessarily post our PDFs on the website. No, because we have these meetings recorded. So, but yes, we certainly can provide you this information. No problem.
Yep, we can put that in our link when we send out the recording and the survey. Okay, and Dory, when will the Ward Street Bridge be open? I have that here, I think. Give me 1 second. We have fall of this year is what we have listed. So we're in the home stretch for that one as far as being closed. And thank you for all your patience. We're entering your questions in order that they come in. So Tony is next.
You want me to take that one?
Sure.
All right, I'll jump in there. So Tony's asking about homeless and coyotes, seeing more of them in residential neighborhoods, and asking if the crews see many homeless and coyotes displaced by the project. So the answer is there is a responsibility in the state right of way to address the homeless encampments, and we have a group that handles that exclusively. We're constantly moving through the project and seeking those out. You post a notice must be posted. It must be in place for 72 hours before the homeless folks, before the transients can move out of there. What we do is we try to connect them. We coordinate with OC Health, the county health services, try to provide services to these folks and give them opportunities, and then go in and clear out the homeless encampments. So within the project right of way, within the project area, I mean, and the state right of way, we do handle homeless encampments. Coyotes, a different story. We've not. This question seems to ebb and flow depending on the time of year. I think we're actually in a time of year where coyotes are breeding, so it could be that's what you're seeing. But no, we don't see any coyotes being displaced by the project.
Great, thank you. And Thomas had the next question. What is the estimated completion date for the Freeway project? So that's 2023, next year.
We should clarify though, the end of 2023, toward the end, right? The fall of 2023.
Yes, thank you. All right. And Sean had the next question for the Heil Bridge, the pedestrian.
I think we answered that one. That'll open this summer.
Yes. And Bill, when will the Ward Bridge? We just answered that as well. That's going to be fall of this year is when we anticipate the Ward Bridge to reopen. Thanks, Bill. And Sean, you were asking about the ramp PDF. Certainly, we can include that as a standalone. And I know that's a graphic we also like too. We thought it was really clear and helpful.
Yep. It's possible. I don't know if a member of the team can extract it from our presentation and pop it into the. We'd have to post it somewhere on our servers and create a link to it. But if not, actually nix that because that's too much work right now. I was thinking we could just post it in the Zoom meeting chat, but we can't actually do that. So what we'll do is include that in our survey that goes out following the meeting, as Nikki said previously.
All right, and Tony had the next question. With all the new ramps, with all the new on-ramps, will 2 lanes be 2 lanes and metered?
I'm going to ask our technical team to jump in on that one. I think some of the on-ramps, I don't know if there are any that are 3 lanes. I don't think so. But a lot of the ramps will be 2 lanes, and then they merge into one as you come onto the freeway. like typical you see elsewhere. And I believe metering the ramps is a standard, it's a Caltrans standard. So I'm pretty sure all the ramps will be metered, most of them. I would never say all because I'm not really sure.
So we'll wait for the technical team to provide that info for us and get back to you shortly. And Joyce, for the Tet Festival, I heard on the radio that Miles Square Parks Festival will only be 2 days, but they didn't mention the days. So do we have an update? So our team will be there with the OCTA booth Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Miles Square Park. And then the Orange County Fair and Event Center is just Saturday, Sunday, and we'll also have a booth there. So if you and your family go, please stop by and say hi to our team. And thank you again. We're answering these questions in order as they come in. So thanks for your patience. All right, Susan had the next question. The right turn southbound Brookhurst has been blocked at the Slater intersection. There had created extra traffic on Brookhurst that can it be unblocked? Can better signage be placed for southbound Brookhurst? There's so many last minute merges happening as people reach the bridge. So yes, we can go ahead and look at that in the field. We have a team of traffic management team that looks at different signage and assesses what's out there, what can be done better. And we can work with the city on signal timing as well that may assist with that. So we can certainly look into that and bring back to the team. We definitely want to make it as safe as possible and eliminate any last minute merging if we can.
And I would add to that that you're going to see some significant changes starting Monday morning there, right? And even before Monday morning, traffic is going to actually be shifted onto the new bridge as early as Saturday morning. So the configuration there, the traffic pattern will change a little bit, but we've definitely taken note of the request, and we'll pass it along to the right team and see what can be done. There's likely a reason for it to, minimize some other to change that movement to address a safety concern in another way, or in another area. So, but we'll talk to them and get you an answer back.
Thank you. And back to the ramp metering question, I heard from the team on the back end. Yes, ramp metering on the on-ramps. Okay. Daniel had the next question. Are there any plans to repair the asphalt under the freeway at Euclid?
The answer to that question is yes. We've been made aware of it. We don't have a specific schedule, but if that's something we can answer in our follow-up email, we'll if we have a schedule by then, we'll be able to give that information to you.
All right. And Jeannie had the next question. Will there be a wall built at Brookhurst where the freeway ramps open up to Los Alamos Park in Fountain Valley?
I believe, I'm sure the technical team is looking at that on the background, but I believe there is a wall there. Take a look. Yeah, that's between Talbert. To be honest, I think that wall might already, I don't know the status of it. We'll have to check that out, but there is a sound wall going along there toward the ramp. We'll get some more information from our technical team.
Yes, they are looking at it now at the area in question there. All right. Dory had the next question. Do you expect more closures on Euclid? And I believe the answer is there may be intermittent closures. We do have some on the, I think it's the northbound side. And that's to, be removing equipment and finishing up work for the portion of the freeway that goes over Euclid. So intermittent closures, it's best to check out our interactive map. And if you use Waze, that's a really good way to get the closure information there as well. All right. And lots of questions coming in. So thank you for your patience. We're answering them in order as they come in. And The next question, the presentation has a project percentage completed number. Does that number include the express lane openings or only the bridge construction projects?
It's the entire project. So everything.
Okay. Thank you. And for the park, I don't have my Google Maps open. I'm not sure if you do, Chris. The park is at Talbert, and what is the cross street for the technical team?
Talbert and Ward.
Okay.
It's right adjacent to the freeway. So just north of the Talbert overcrossing.
Okay. Thank you. And Mayor Pro Tem Kim Constantine, thank you for joining us. And she says, thank you, Chris, and everyone. The project is going well, and we appreciate all the updates. Thank you.
It's great to hear.
Yes. And next question is from Thomas. When driving southbound in the carpool lane on the 605, where do the express lanes or the toll for the express lane start before or after the existing carpool lane transition bridge to the 405?
So that information should be available on our access map. So there's a link to that in the chat, and you can see where all of the access points are along the route, and that will tell you the north end and the south end. And obviously, because it's not like the 91 where it's just closed all the way with pylons on one side. There are ingress and egress points throughout. I'm not sure if those comply exactly with the tolling gantries, but they're probably pretty close. So you can see in those locations where the tolling gantries are going to be. That's that structure that goes up and over and has cameras on it. Takes pictures of cars. It's an enforcement tool as well. That sort of thing.
All right, great. I think Tony says thank you in answer to his question. Thank you, Tony, for joining us. And Susan had the next question. Will landscaping for all the bridges be completed at the end of the project? And I think the answer is generally yes. There have been some special cases that we've worked with the city, but at the end of the project, once construction is complete, that's when they will start working on the landscaping. All right, and then for the technical team, going back to the wall question, there is a sound wall along northbound 405 at Alamos Park. Los Alamos Park, excuse me. All right, Roger had the next question. Thanks for joining us, Roger. I missed the beginning of the presentation. Where is the briefing posted? So we will be posting the briefing on our website, which is www.octa.net/405 improvement. And we will also be sending out an email to everyone that was registered for the meeting with a link to the recording and also a survey. And then we're also going to post some project information that we shared here, some good exhibits with the ramp information and intersection. So hopefully that's helpful. All right. Mary Lou had the next question. Will both new carpool lanes be fee-based? So yes, that's also in our express lanes FAQ that's posted in the chat and available on our website. So the express lanes do have a toll structure where if you're 3 or more, it's free. If you are 2 or more for the first 3.5 years, you pay during peak hours. And then if you're a single occupancy vehicle and you choose to use the express lanes, you pay a fee. But all of that is broken down in our express lanes FAQ. And again, that's in our chat and on our website.
I just want to mention on that sound wall near Los Alamos Park, I was just looking at the latest information we have, and it looks like they're going to start doing masonry work, block work there in the coming weeks. Things change with that, though. It's not a critical path item, as we would call it, where it must be done before something else can be. So, but it is on the schedule.
Okay, thank you. And Sean had a question about the southbound off-ramp from Westminster Boulevard. When will that be closed?
I think that's the southbound off ramp too. So the loop off ramp, right? And that was just completed. And if it's the off ramp, it was just completed, and it's open. I think there are intermittent closures of it, right? But
all right, and next question. Daniel says, thank you, Daniel, for your questions. Hopefully we responded with information you needed. And Tony, the same. And let's see, Jeannie had the next question. There's an area of the park that's exposed to the freeway, or a comment, I guess. So we will look to see what the
wall covers the entire park.
Okay.
It extends from the Talbot Bridge abutment to sort of basically all along the freeway up the ramp, about a third of the way up the ramp or so.
Okay, thank you. And next question, let me just check in with the team here. All right, next question is from Sean. When will Cruz close the southbound 405 on and off ramp from Brookhurst Street? So I think we had that. Let me check my notes here. On and off ramp.
We'll start with the northbound. Those are currently closed for reconstruction. Those are expected to open later this month, and that's the northbound off, and then the northbound loop on ramp from Brookhurst Street. And those will open in their final configuration. And then there's that straight on ramp that slips on from southbound Brookhurst to the northbound 405. That's supposed to close for about 30 days later this, spring or summer, somewhere in that time. And then the southbound ramps temporarily will be closed this weekend while we do the traffic shift. And then the longer term closures where we rebuild the ramps completely, that happens in, Nikki, toward the end of the bridge, mid 2023, yes. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So three of the ramps will be rebuilt by, I'll just say, middle of this year, and the other two, the southbound ramps, will be reconstructed by the middle of next year. You can look at it that way.
Mm-hmm. Spring, summer. Yeah, spring, summer. I think that's what he said.
Yep.
All right. Pull up my questions here again. Okay, and Bill had another question about access points for the express lanes. I have heard that there will be no access or egress points for the express lanes in Mountain Valley. Is that true or false? I believe there's one in, that might be Huntington Beach technically, Warner. Let me pull up, unless
that's what I was going to look at too.
Okay.
It's also, I believe we've linked to the access map. So it's in our, it's in the chat there. Let me find it before I do. Okay. A lot of times we also get questions about, transponders. Will the fast track transponders be required to use the express lanes? And they will be. So there no cash payments or toll booths, anything like that.
Yep. And we just relinked the document in the chat.
Yeah, I do not see the access map on our website, so I'm probably missing it though. But if not, we'll get it on there.
Yep.
Looking at the resources page too.
All right. We'll move on to the next question from Jeannie. To clarify, there is going to be a wall built at Los Alamos Park. That's true. Alamos Park.
There you go. Yeah.
And there isn't one that exists currently when we're standing in the park. So there will be one. Yes. Sorry for the confusion, Jeannie. All right. And Jeannie says, thank you. And let's see, Sean, had another question. Are we getting rid of the southbound loop off ramp from Westminster Boulevard?
No, no, you can get off at Springdale going southbound, right? That because there's no off ramp to Westminster because those two bridges are so close together. So there's an off ramp to Springdale. You get off there and you can turn left and go over Springdale, or you can turn right and get to Westminster Boulevard and turn either direction. Or you can take the loop off ramp that just recently opened, and that's been reconstructed. It's not open to its full configuration yet because Cruz are still working, and maybe I can share my my map here a little bit. That might work to give you a sense of what's going on. Bear with me. Team loves it when I do this. When I go off script, as it were.
It's always an adventure.
There you go. All right, so I'm going to take us up to Westminster, share my screen. There we go. All right, so there's that. Going all the way up here to Westminster Boulevard. Right now, and I'll change it to this. Old labels, take that off there, close that up. So right now, this loop off ramp, this is an old photo. You've got the Springdale, let me see if I can annotate. Spotlight. I don't know if you can see the spotlight. No, that's not what I want.
All the fun tools on Zoom.
Yeah, not going to worry about it. But here's the Springdale off ramp right here. Hopefully you can see that. It's in purple, right? That's going to stay the way it is. It's, I believe the ramp has been completed. This intersection has not been completed though. And you can get off here and turn right and go to westbound on Westminster, or you'll be able to come and get off this loop off ramp. This is not disappearing. This one right here, it's just reopened and ready to go, and you can turn right from here and go to eastbound Westminster. The questions real quick.
I noticed
hey, I noticed the completed bridges have a metal name badge affixed to the concrete side, sort of cool. Also, there are monuments being added to some freeway overpasses. That is correct. Similar to a sound wall, for example, the Santa Ana River overpass, there aren't any plans for sound walls down there, as far as I know. I believe all of the new bridges in some form or another will have the monuments. I don't know that there's a real question in my mind about what would go on that bridge for, where it's basically going over the Santa Ana River and the Euclid Ellis area. I don't know that there are any monuments in that location, but we'll ask the technical team on that one. But there aren't any walls planned for that spot right there, sound walls planned for that spot.
Okay, thank you. So while the technical team looks at that, I got some more information from the technical team on a previous question about ramp metering. So ramp metering for the Brookhurst on-ramps. Yeah, the southbound loop on-ramp, yes. The northbound loop on-ramp, yes. The northbound straight on-ramp. There are 2 lanes with ramp metering, all of those. So just as you said, they all transition to 1 lane before they merge onto the freeway. So hopefully that's extra clear. All right, next question from Sean. When will Cruz close the Warner Avenue southbound loop on and off ramp?
I can take that one, and maybe the technical team can fact check me, but all of those ramps are going to be reconstructed toward the end of that bridge's construction. So somewhere in spring to summer 2023 is about when you'll see all that happening.
All right. And Susan had a question. The way the egress is currently set up for Fountain Valley residents heading north will not be able to use the express lanes because there's no egress points until the Huntington Beach exits. Is that something that could be revisited?
No, the project has been designed. Those ingress and egress points are where they are. Fountain Valley, there's one at the south end of the project that's more for Costa Mesa. In the northbound section, you've got ingress and egress at northbound at Magnolia, Warner, and you would exit there for Beach, Edinger, Bolsa, Golden West. So it's a little bit past Fountain Valley. I think that's what you're talking about. Let me take a look. Just want to make sure it's northbound that Susan was talking about. If that's the case, northbound, you're gonna likely get out at because you want to get off, say, at Euclid. You're gonna get out of the express lanes frankly, right where they start, right near where they start in Costa Mesa, back around Fairview area. That's the exit point for anything up to Beach and Edinger area. I'm going to share my screen here one more time. And can we have Susan's question again? Actually, I think I can see it here under answered, right?
So the way it's currently set up, and Fountain Valley residents heading north will not be able to use the express lanes because there's no egress points until the Huntington Beach exit. So I think it's that Warner Edinger.
So let's go back to this map. All right, and so this is the access map, right? Ingress and egress. And again, if you're coming northbound, you need to get off at Euclid or Warner. You're going to get out down here at the interchange with the 73 and the 405, right? And the express lanes start on the 73, so we should make that clear. You'll be entering them from the 73, right? These two are access points, but you would probably not use that if you wanted to get out at Warner. You would just take the standard connector, right? If you wanted to get out at Warner or Euclid. North of that, this access point, as it shows here, is for exiting at Beach, Edinger, Bolsa, and Golden West. If you're asking me about ingress, and let's say you get on at Euclid, you could get, I believe there's enough room, you would be able to get over and get in here where it says exit for Beach, etc. These are ingress and egress points, just to make that clear. So you come in and out, and these are probably about 1.5 miles long, maybe even longer, to allow enough time for cars to come in and out of the express lanes. If you were to come in on Warner or enter, up at Beach, that entrance would be up here, right? Up toward, just past near Golden West and Bolsa. That would be where you'd enter. Hope that answers that question for you.
All right. And just going back to some of the information our technical team has been looking at for us, monuments will be added wherever there is a new bridge constructed. And also, you were accurate, Chris, when you mentioned the information about the Warner ramps.
Okay, good.
All right, a few more questions coming in, and Daniel says, thank you. Thank you, Daniel. And Sean, yes, the Heil pedestrian bridge was scheduled to be open last winter at the end of last year. They decided with the city, of course, to do the work to keep it closed because they had some additional work for safety reasons. They didn't want, people using the bridge next to people doing work. So we decided with the city that it was best that if we could just keep it closed for the remaining work that needed to be done for safety reasons. And we have coordinated with the schools in the area. So we made sure that they were aware of that bridge, that pedestrian bridge, to continue to be closed. So yes, we know it stayed closed a little bit longer than originally planned.
I'd like to just talk about the time frame a little bit, and I'd like the team to check, but I think it closed in August of 2019 and was set to reopen in August of 20, no, August 20, it closed in August of 2020, and it was supposed to open in August of 2021. So I believe that was the original schedule. We talked about the ramps at Warner.
Yes.
Those will all be reconstructed toward the end, toward when that bridge opens in spring, summertime 2023.
Yes. And Sean's next question for false work, that will be installed approximately late summer, early fall this year. That's when we anticipate the false work to be installed on the Brookhurst Bridge. And let's see, Sean had an additional question. When will Cruz close the southbound on-ramp from Fairview Road Bridge?
I'm looking at the list. I don't actually see that one on here. So we'll need some help from our colleagues working in the background.
All right, and then we
I
have
think the closure for that is to redo the ramp. I don't think there's any additional realignment going on, but
right.
you know, it's needs some paving and things like that. So hopefully that's going to be taken care of.
And Sean, if you're not already, a good way to keep up to date on when ramps may be closed is to sign up for our alerts, and you can click, like we said earlier, like the bridge that you want to know about. So if you want to know about Edinger, Fairview, click on those databases that we can add you to on the back end, and then when any closures come up for those ramps or that bridge, we blast out the information. We do have a slight correction to the monument answer. There are some bridges that don't have it, so we need to follow up on that. So sorry. It's a big project.
I'm going to take the next one from Dory, asking, with no Fountain Valley egress on express lanes, and there is egress for Fountain Valley. In fact, I'll go ahead and share my screen again, just so we can see this. So there is egress on the express lanes for Fountain Valley. In the southbound direction, you can get to, you can exit near Bolsa and Golden West and get to Magnolia and Warner. And again, you can exit at Magnolia and Warner and get to Brookhurst, Euclid, Harbor, and Fairview. That's southbound. Northbound, you just wouldn't enter the express lanes to get off at Euclid and Warner, right? So there isn't taking them to there. But you can get to Edinger, right, which is probably the last Fountain Valley exit, more or less. But I think your question more specifically had to do with getting to taking the 55 south to the 405 north Carpool Bridge. That's not affected by our project. So you'd still take the Carpool Bridge and come through the carpool lanes, and then there would be a transition to the express lanes. So you would need to exit the carpool lane after you came onto the 405 down here by South Coast Plaza in order to get off at Euclid or Warner. Or you could stay in the carpool lanes all the way to this egress point here if you needed to get off at, no, actually that's too far. Yeah, that's too far. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you can, my apologies. Yes, you could get out, you could exit here. So you would exit, you would either not enter them and be out here, or you would exit them here, and that would get you to you know, this area right here for Fountain Valley, and you could exit and come east at you know, at one of these, at Magnolia, for example.
All right, thank you. Sean has our next question. Why did the Edinger Bridge open to traffic when there was still work going on? That's a good question. We had to open that in order to be a detour for closing the Springdale Bridge. So that was one of, oh no, I'm thinking of Edwards.
You're thinking of Edwards. That had to be closed for Ward, for us to open Ward Bridge, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you.
And you'll see that almost every bridge is opened before it's fully pristine and finished. And that's because we want to get cars back on those bridges, we want to get traffic flowing much better. So there's always going to be ongoing work to do, not ongoing, but there's always going to be additional work that needs to be completed before the bridge is finished. That's why we talk about it in terms of being open to traffic, fully open to traffic versus finished. One of the other things that you'll see is when they start the landscaping, there may need to be, lane closures on some of the bridge approaches, things like that. So we hope to be out of everybody's hair by the by the end of 2023.
Yes. Okay. And I know Sean has some questions about the Fairview on and off ramps, southbound off ramp and northbound on ramp. When will those close?
We need some help from the technical team on those dates. I don't have that information.
All right. And just some info from the technical team. We think that the Fairview southbound on-ramp will be closed for about 30 days before the Fairview Bridge is going to reopen. So tentatively in spring this year, and it'll be about a 30-day closure, and that's for new ramp paving. So keep an eye out for that when we blast out information, Sean.
Yeah, and again, sign up for that bridge specific database. Something as major as that we would include in our regular alert, but it's always good to be, you can get more connected to what's happening at Fairview if you sign up for that bridge specific email alert database. Bill is asking about traffic lanes. They've shifted quite a bit in Costa Mesa. There's temporary efforts to stripe and block out some of the old lane markers, but they're still visible and confusing. Definitely, that area is going to be restriped. So there's as you've seen, when you look at the project from one end to the other, we are shifting traffic significantly, right? We're having to move around to adjust to create work areas for the crews, right? So sometimes it'll shift to the outside. Sometimes the lanes will shift to the inside for outside work to be done, like on the abutments of bridges, things like that. So at the end of the project, yes, you will see restriping going on to ensure the lanes meet meet the design that meet the design plans, I should say. Pardon me.
All right, thank you. Next one is from Tony. So the entire Brookhurst Bridge will not be closed during the day. So this weekend, the bridge will be closed just from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So each night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's when the Brookhurst Bridge will be closed during the traffic shift this weekend.
It's our understanding that traffic the first night, so tomorrow night, everything closes, and there's work that will be done with striping and moving K-rail and adjusting, creating some roadway right there, say in front of the Wendy's, for example, reworking that pavement so that cars come Saturday morning at 5 a.m. when the bridge reopens for the daytime, they'll be driving on the new bridge at that point. And then the rest of the weekend is dedicated to rebuilding up those southbound ramps to match temporarily that height of the new bridge, right? Because the old bridge is about 5 to 6 feet lower than a new bridge. So for a temporary amount of time, we have to take those southbound ramps and connect them to that new higher bridge. And then once the new second half of the bridge is done, that's when they'll redo the southbound ramps completely to tie them into, obviously, their half of the bridge. So it's just a temporary thing that needs to take place, and that starts Saturday night, and I think Sunday night, all that work's happening. So she will be able to drive on the bridge during the day. That's the plan, I should say.
And Sean had some more questions about ramps. We're having the technical team look at those. Those are for Beach and Harbor. And so while they're doing that, we'll move to the next question from Daniel or comment. No biggie on the monuments, just curious. You're doing a great job on such a large project. Thank you. Love watching the creation of the tower supports for the 73 carpool connectors. That boring equipment is impressive. Yes, we got some really great photos that we've been posting on social media because of the big equipment and and big rebar cages for the piling. So that was a really big deal over there, actually. So thank you for noticing, and thank you for following along. Dory had the next question. The northbound Fairview to northbound 405, will there be a new on-ramp?
No, there's no need for a new ramp. What happens there is that bridge will be in the same configuration that it was when we closed it initially. And the reason we have to rebuild it is to accommodate the widened freeway. But Fairview was rebuilt about 10 years ago. You probably know that if you live in the area. And it was at that point built to its maximum width, right? There's a larger county plan that dictates the traffic needs and forecasts the traffic needs. And so bridges and roadways are built to meet those needs over time. Fairview, however, was built to its maximum width. Then we basically demolished it, recreated it. It's a higher bridge. It's actually a little bit wider, but it will have bike lanes and sidewalks on both sides, which I don't think it did when we closed it. Or maybe it did, but nonetheless, you'll still be able to go northbound on Fairview and turn left onto that on-ramp, and that access will still be there. It's just not available today because it would sort of muck up the traffic and really congest the northbound traffic.
All right. And Susan had the next question. Just to clarify, on the northbound express lanes, you can make an exit at Magnolia at that egress point.
Yes. You can go in and out of the express lanes at that location. Right between Warner and Magnolia is where that ingress and egress point will be, where that access point will be.
All right. And again, we have that linked in our chat box if you need to see the map there, Susan. And then Tony says, sounds good. So glad we answered your question, Tony. And then Sean has the last question. Sean, also for those on and off ramps at Harbor and Beach that you had questions about, please email our team and we can pull that information for you and answer any other questions that you may have. So please email our team. But your last question here is about Newland. When will that open to traffic? And what we have is summer next year. So summer 2023 is when we anticipate Newland to be open.
And that was the bridge. Sorry, it wasn't Ward, it was Newland. We had to open Edinger in order to close Newland. My apologies. That was my mistake. There are a lot of bridges.
There's a lot of bridges, a lot of bridges.
Work going on out there.
Yeah, a lot of detours. All right, that's all the questions we have. So we'll just give it a few more minutes. Takes a little bit of time to think of them. And while we wrap up everything, we just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We'll put up the contact slide again, if you could, Chris, please.
You got it.
Okay, just a reminder that we are recording this and it will be available within the next 24 hours at our website, which is octa.net/405 improvement. And we'll be sending that recording link out in an email as well. If you weren't able to catch the whole meeting or if you had neighbors that weren't able to make it. And we're going to launch our final poll. In the poll section, if you could please just let us know how this worked for you. Would you like to see more virtual meetings for construction updates? And again, we just really thank you for taking the time to be with us, asking all those good questions. And if you think of something after the meeting, please email us, give us a call on our helpline. That email goes to all of our team members in case one of us is out or misses it. And then our helpline goes directly to an answering machine, but then our team researches the question and gives you a call back. And we have 100% answers yes for our poll. So that's good to see too.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. A lot of great questions coming in the project. And, one of the exciting things for us is this second half of Brookhurst is the last major demolition on the project. It's the last bridge demolition that we expect to have. So that's pretty exciting. It's a great milestone. And again, we realize the community has to deal with the traffic, has to deal with the noise, and that's never an easy thing to manage, especially if you're living right next to the freeway there. But we really appreciate your patience. If you see an issue, obviously, as Nikki said, reach out to us in one of these manners. You can also reach out to us on social media. We get quite a few comments and questions there. So really appreciate that. But we're getting into the home stretch of the project, even though it may not seem like it for everybody.
Yes, thank you so much. And with that, we will say good evening. Thank you, everyone. Stay well.
Thank you all.